Hello children, lesson 2, part 2, the Shahnai of Bismillah Khan in your English textbook. As you can see in this picture, there are the music maestros. Hari Prasad Chaurasia is there, Pandit Ravi Shankar is there, others are there, and you see Ustad Bismillah Khan of course is there. He was a world renowned Shahnai maestro, and this lesson is a biography, short biography of Ustad Bismillah Khan. He excelled in Shahnai. Before I start the discussion in this lesson, I would like to show you a Shahnai and how he used to play it. You will just see and you will just like it. Just see the Shahnai being played by Ustad Bismillah Khan. This instrument is called Shahnai and it produces melodious sounds. So he is really in very jovial mood playing Shahnai as you have just seen. Let us come back to our discussion. Let us resume it. But before I start start discussing the lesson paragraph wise, I would like to tell you about his birth, his death, and the theme of this story, his life history. You can just see here. Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan, the world-renowned Shahnai maestro, was born on 21st March 1916 in the ancient princely estate of Dumraon in Bihar. His maternal uncles were from Benares, which is also called Varanasi, and later on the family settled in Benares. He lived in Benares lifelong, and Ustad Bismillah Khan died in Varanasi on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. The theme of this story, this life story, is very important. It is here, you can see theme of Bismillah Khan's biography. I am reading, you can just read with me. Here you see it is: one's extraordinary talent associated with regular practice and hard work is sure to bring one recognition and fame. That means if you want to become famous and get recognition for your talent, you must do hard work and practice regularly. For example, I have given here, you see, for example, Bismillah Khan got universal recognition for Shahnai, which was earlier restricted to temples and king's courts in India. Shahnai was played in the temples in North India and the king's court during the Mughal Empire. It has become a universal musical instrument now, and a variety of classical ragas can be played on it. Bismillah was the first to invent them. That much variety of classical ragas was not played earlier. It is Bismillah who gave these ragas to Shahnai, and that's why he is known the world over today. The story, a story can have more than one themes. The second theme, which is also very important, equally important rather, I'm reading: music or any kind of art knows no territorial or religious boundaries. It is open for all those who want to learn and practice it. It is universal and it is for all creatures. Even the animals and birds can be seen singing and dancing. What to talk of humans? Even the animals and birds can be seen singing and dancing, not only the humans. So this is the theme of the story which I wanted to show you. Now let us resume our discussion. In the introduction you are told, think of a Shehnai and the first thing you will probably imagine is a wedding or a similar occasion or function. The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro, playing this instrument. So Shehnai is associated with Bismillah, and he is the only world-known renowned figure. Whenever you remember or talk about Shehnai, Bismillah is inevitable. The first paragraph, my dear boys and girls, starts like this. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Earlier, at the time, Shehnai was not there, pungi was there. There is a picture of Shehnai and pungi in your book. I'll just show you. It is pungi. You can see it is bulging in the middle, and the other one is Shehnai. This picture you can see, and you can see the difference between these two instruments. Okay, let us come to this first paragraph. Okay, so Emperor Aurangzeb thought that pungi is very shrill and unpleasant, and it is a reeded noise maker made of reed, wooden reed, and it makes noise, and that's why its playing was banned in the royal court. Then the first paragraph tells the story of the birth of Shehnai. There was a barber, and he had access to the royal court. He used to go to the royal family, he used to visit, and he was from a family of musicians. So he decided to improve pungi and create another instrument as an improvement over pungi. So what he did, he took a hollow stem and made 7 holes on the body of that hollow pipe, and he played it. As he blew, some sound was created, and he thought it is some sort of melodious sound. So he practiced it. He went on practicing, and later, as you can see, after practicing at home, he took the instrument to the royal court, and he played the instrument. You can read here. Just he played the instrument before royalty, that is in the royal court. He played, and everyone was impressed. And these last 3 lines you can see, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers. Shah's means the emperor or the king. His chambers, this new instrument was played, new unnamed instrument, and was played by a nai. Nai means barber in Hindi. Nai means barber. The instrument was named the Shehnai. Sheh means Shah, Nai means barber. So this is how Shehnai came into existence. This is the story of birth of Shehnai. Well, this paragraph second, the sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious, and this instrument was played in temples and in the North Indian weddings. So this instrument is associated with temples and North Indian weddings. And also it was one important instrument, musical instrument of Naubat. Naubat means 9 instruments which were found in the royal courts in the Middle Ages when there was Mughal Empire in India. So it was one of those 9 uh, musical instruments, the important ones. Shahnai was one. But still it was not famous that much as it is today. And that's why these last 3 lines of this paragraph number 2, the credit of bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan was the person, the musician who gave it the classical status. He made it a classical instrument and got world over recognition for his musical talent. Now, paragraph 3, it tells you the story of Bismillah's early childhood. He was a 5-year-old boy, and as you know, this paragraph tells you about his birthplace. There was one ancient princely state in Bihar. Here you can see the state of Dumraon. There he was born, and even as a child, he would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita. And when he sang the Chaita, the Maharaja was pleased, and he used to give him the gift of one laddu, which weighed 1.25 kg. So he just was very much amused, and he just liked going to the temple and playing the singing the songs there. And as a child, it was some sort of entertainment for him. This was the beginning. This happened in the early age, and then he continued his journey till he got the highest civilian award, the national award, Bharat Ratna. You can see here. So my dear boys and girls, the next 4th paragraph tells you about his birth. In the beginning, I have already shown you some slides of his birth. Born on 21st March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather's name was Rasul Baks Khan, and his father's name was Paigambar Baks Khan, and they were all Shahnai players. They used to play. The whole family used to play Shahnai. And here in this paragraph, you can see this is paragraph number 5. You can see here, the young boy took to music early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Benares, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shahnai. And this was a turning point in his life, because later he settles in Varanasi and plays Shahnai on the bank of holy river Ganga. Here, this line you can see, soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baks to the Vishnu temple of Benares, where Baks was employed to play the Shahnai. These Shahnai players used to play in the temples and in the weddings. That is what we have seen. Okay, and when Ali Baks played, Bismillah stood captivated, enchanted by the melody of Shahnai, and he listened to him for hours together. And slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maiya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts. young apprentice. Apprentice means one who learns. He was learning the music of Shehnai, and the bank of river Ganga became his favorite haunt. Haunt means the resting place where one gets relief or solace. That is there. Okay. And he practiced in solitude, all alone, in nobody's company, because silence is necessary to make achievements in any field, whether it is music or your studies, of course. These lines I am reading: the flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of Shehnai. This is important. Before Bismillah Khan, those ragas were not invented by any other Shehnai player. So for Bismillah it was new, and he had a very innovative mind, and he did it, and he proved it before the world. This paragraph 6 tells you, my dear boys and girls, at the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad music conference. Allahabad is just near to Varanasi, some 80 kilometers approximately, and there he recited, and his recital was appreciated by Ustad Fayaz Khan, and he advised him, look, here you can see, work hard and you shall make it. Practice hard, practice music, and you will become some great musician one day, he predicted. So, and when All India Radio was opened in Lucknow in 1938, Bismillah used to play Shehnai regularly on All India Radio. He had earned name and fame, he was renowned, and they invited him to play Shehnai on All India Radio. That's what we see in paragraph number 6. And then this paragraph number 7 tells you how he was honored. How he was honored when India became free on 15th August 1947. Bismillah Khan was the first Indian to greet the nation with Shehnai. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. So among the audience, Jawaharlal Nehru and the other national leaders were there, and to celebrate India's independence, they had gathered at Red Fort, and Bismillah was honored. He was invited to play Shehnai, because Shehnai is considered as an instrument, as an auspicious instrument, and that's why it was played in the temples, and it was played at the time of weddings. Okay, and that's why it was an auspicious occasion. India had got independence, and that's why Bismillah was invited, and he played the melodious Rag Kafi and mesmerized the people, the politicians and the other people who had gathered there to celebrate India's freedom. Then this paragraph number 8, my dear boys and girls. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan. Okay, and not only in Afghanistan, he went and gave stage performances in many other countries. About that we will see in the following paragraph. Then remember, these lines are very important, which I wanted to emphasize on. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. He made this film, and Bismillah played Shehnai in that film. The film was a hit, and one of Bismillah Khan's compositions Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya turned out to be a nationwide chartbuster. It was a blockbuster movie, and that song is very famous. I will just show you that song. You can just listen to it. It is here. You see how uh, I mean, Bismillah played Shahnai. You can hear. गूंज उठी शहनाई. So this was a clip which I wanted to show you how Bismillah got an opportunity to play Shahnai in the film, but he didn't like playing Shahnai, which he considered as a very holy, very pious instrument in the films. He didn't like it. One film was there. It was Vikram Srinivasa's film, Kannada film, that is Sanadhi Apanna. There also he had played Shahnai. Apart from these two, he stopped playing that musical instrument, Shahnai, because he considered that the glamour of the films is different, and he didn't want to uh, I mean, place Shahnai in such a glamorous movies. He thought that Shahnai is something very classical, and it has nothing to do with the glamour of the celluloid world or the film world, and that's why he refused to play Shahnai in other films, even if he got the offer. Now, this paragraph 9 I have highlighted here, my dear boys and girls. You can see how he became world famous and how awards and recognitions came to him from different corners of the world. I am reading. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in the Osaka Trade Fair. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in the Tehran was named after him. Tahar Musiki Ustad Bismillah Khan. This was the name. This is the name of an auditorium in Tehran. It was named as a honor, as a tribute, as an honor to Bismillah Khan. Not only internationally, but here in India also, he was so famous. You see, first he became famous in India, then he went beyond the territorial limits of India. Paragraph number 10 tells you the national awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan, and the Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. See, from the bottom, first award Padma Shri, then Padma Bhushan, and then next comes Padma Vibhushan, third type, this third award. And then in 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. In this way, all these 4 national awards were awarded to him. These are all very coveted awards, and people just want to have any one of them. Even they get satisfied with this Padma Shri, which is the first one. But what to talk of the first one, he got even the Bharat Ratna. Such a great person, a great legend he was, really, just to tell you. See, he said when he got this Bharat Ratna, he said, all I would like to say is teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music. he said it. And he said that children should be taught music. And I will show you one clip of Kajri. Kajri is a famous type of music which is played on this instrument Shahnai, and Bismillah played it. See, Ustad Bismillah Khan's Kajri. You can just hear the sound. Of course, the sound, let the sound run in the background. I will go on explaining. So, this is what he wanted the Indian children. He wanted them to learn music, and he said that this music is Hindustan's richest tradition. Not only in India, but in the Western countries, our music is getting recognition. Of course, it is the true statement which he has made. And this paragraph number 12, my dear boys and girls, in spite of having traveled all over the world, Khan Sahab, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumraon, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. Banaras and Dumraon. Dumraon in Bihar, where he was born, and Banaras, his maternal uncle's place, where he had settled in later course of his life. He had many students. So one student, a student of his, once wanted him to head a Shahnai school in the USA. He said that, okay, why don't you open, you have become famous, so open one school in the USA. And that student, he was a rich fellow, and he promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating is copying the temples there. He said, I will copy, I will construct the temples in the USA like the temples of Banaras. But Bismillah Khan asked him very interesting question. But Khan Sahab asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. That is, can you carry river Ganga from here to the USA? That is impossible. So where there is no Ganga, how can I go and open the classes of Shahnai? So he loved Ganga so much. And see, whenever he was in other cities like Mumbai and the other cities, he always remembered Banaras and Dumraon. So this was paragraph number 12. Let us move forward. You see, here you can see paragraph number, this is 13, and towards the end it is. I am just reading paragraph 13. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of rich cultural heritage of India. One that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shahnai every morning at the Kasi Vishwanath temple. He was not a fundamentalist. He believed in equality of all religions, and even in Hindu marriages he played Shahnai. So he didn't believe in the fragmentation on the basis of the religion and the caste and the sect, etc. He was just beyond it, and we have seen in the beginning of this discussion that this music is the universal thing. It is not of one country. So such a universal attitude he had towards music and towards Shahnai, and that's why he was rightly honored with the highest national award, highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. And this is the story in short biography of Ustad Bismillah Khan. I hope you have understood it. Read the whole biography again at home and attempt the questions. And in case of any doubts or questions, you can ask me anytime. I'll be always at your disposal. So that's all for today, and there we end this lesson. Thank you very much, my dear boys and girls. Have a nice time.